Hey, Internet viewers, Frank Rauscher again. I want to thank everybody who wished me well on my sickness. I'm getting over it, and I may sound a little froggy, but I'm pretty good. I'm getting better all the way through. So I just want to thank everybody for the nice comments and everything else. And we're still marching on with the Golden-Crowned Kinglet. And so the last time when we got done, we marked the head so that we had an inner part which was above the eye, and then the wider part on the head which was a ½ inch out from the center, is the cheek area, which is down below the eye. So I wanted to let you know that. We did get a beak line through both sides. So when you look straight down, it should be straight across. The eyes should be lined up together as well. And I want to make sure that you have it right, okay? Check it out and look from the top down just to make sure that these are lined up, okay? It's very important, especially if you're doing like a competitive piece or something like that, or you're getting competition. You want to make sure the eyes are in the proper position, okay? What we're going to do, we also put the cheek area, that's what I call it, the cheek area. We're also going to get an eye channel in here through the eye, and we're going to bring his cheek area out. We're also going to do the beak too. So we're going to work the head and pretty much get it in shape, hopefully, in this video. So just want you to have something that looks pretty close to that, and I hope you've got that in there. Like I said, you at least need on the bottom end of this at least a ½ inch out from the center, and then the inside one will get in slightly. I think that was 3/8, so it's from the center out, okay, on either side, okay? So we're building this. It does have a chubby look in the front, and that's what we're trying to look for. It has, let's see if I can get this. This here is like chubby in a sense, and that's what they are. They're like little stumpy type birds, but they're cute. They're really cute. And that's what we want to try to maintain, okay? So I don't want to lose that. I hope you didn't cut in too much on when we got the cheek in, not the cheek, but the shoulder. And you at least have to maintain the ½ inch on either side at the cheek area. And I drew the cheek on one side and put it on the other side as well. Made sure everything is lined up across my center line too, okay? So that's very important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see exactly what I'm doing. We're going to go in and we'll start working the beak, get that going. Then we'll start moving things back into the cheek area, get the cheek area out, and then I'll show you how to do that as well, okay? So bear with me and we'll get started. Oh, another thing too, I better say, got to get the commercial in here anyway. If you are watching my videos and you are enjoying them, I would ask you to give me a thumbs up. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would even be great too. If you can also pass the information on to your friends that may be interested in wanting to do this as well, that would be greatly appreciated. And if anybody wants to contribute to my channel, I appreciate that as well too. It helps in me maintaining this, and I've been trying to do this for a number of years now, so I'm hoping you guys are getting something out of all my videos, and hope that it is very helpful to you. So I'm going to move the camera down and we'll continue on and see if we can't get this developed. Okay, Here we go. We have the beak. Like I said, we had outlined this. We came up 5/16 from the tip of the beak up, put a dot, and then we came out on a 45-degree angle to the where it tapers in, and at that edge, I came back and dropped in, and that was 5/16 back, okay? And we had burned that in. We also burned in the eye area with that burnisher I used. So what we're going to do, and for the beak, we had a C here, and then it went straight out. That is not the end of the beak. That's just to get the thing in shape. We got the C on this side. It's like a reverse C. And then we have a straight line coming straight across, okay, joining up. Now, let me get my what's the name? Optivisor, and I always get these even though you don't see it. I use this for magnification so I could see exactly what I'm getting into. Now, I'm going to use a Ram micro grinder, and I've been using these for years, and this was the burnisher I used before to do the eyes, and I'm going to use a flame tip ruby. If you have the diamond bullet that I used to have, or I still have, and there's different size flame tips. This is the smaller one. This is the larger one. I'm going to go with the larger one this time. No reason why not. Either one will work. I'm going to come in. I have my machine full out. It's a 45,000 RPM one. What I want to do is I want to slope from the center line down to the burn, and I'm going to undercut this line on the beak where we came off and made a 45, then came over and then dropped down into that 5/16 at the end. So I'm undercutting this just like this. Okay, I'm getting right into that area, right through there. I'm keeping the pencil line in. Okay, so the pencil line is still there, but I've undercut it with the tip of the bit around, okay? So there, if I get my pencil, just to hope you can see it, this is like the depth that I'm in, okay? You can see, maybe a 30-second down or something like that. Now, what I'm going to do, let me just heavy this up. This is the center line. And this is my burn. And I want to slope this from the center line down to the burn, okay? And I'm trying to take that straight back and flat. And what I'm trying to do is get a facet here. I'm going to have each corner of the bit, of the beak, sort of like a diamond, okay? So it's sloping from the center line to the burn. Now, I'm going to undercut around the C. Okay. Let me get my pencil in there so you can see that. Almost obliterated that. And then we had a straight line that came across like that. And then we also have this centered line coming through the beak, coming through the bottom here as well. Okay. And I'm going to slope this from the burn down to the center line here. So I'm going to come in here slope that back. I'm starting to lose that bottom line, but no big deal. I'm trying to slope that. I will go back in and put that in. This gets a little tight in here. Yep. Maybe I went a little too high there. Right there. Okay. Now, we have an edge here, and just to help us out a little bit, I'm going to use the middle of my bit just to soften that up to the center line here, so that we can get some of the hard edges out. Okay? I don't want to use the tip, because the tip tends to undercut, and I don't want to undercut. I just want to just get that edge out of there. So it doesn't have to be perfect yet. Okay? So there we are there. And you don't want to take too much out, because we want this sort of chubby looking at the moment. Okay? Now let's go to the other side. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to undercut below the line here. We're keeping the line. And I'm coming down into that drop. Then I'm going to slope all this from the burn to the center line. So I just take my time, because you get there real fast. And I want to slope this. That goes back in there. And you can't be aggressive here, because there's not that much there. So let me see if I can show you. Here's the center line. And there's the slope, and we're all the way back in there, just like on this side. Now I'm going to do the C here. I'm going to come around the C. I'm going to undercut that. Hope I'm right in camera range here. So I'm going to come around here. And then I'm going to slope this from here, like this, all along that pencil line. Okay? And the pencil line I'm talking about is, here's the C here. We had this coming straight across. Okay. Now I want to slope this here down to that pencil line. We do have that same edge on the outside. Let me draw this in just so you know where I'm going here. We have that line going straight across. It goes from here and slides up there. It's not the end all, and it's not the way the beak's supposed to look yet, so don't try to make it look right yet. Now, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to just round that hard edge away. I'm going to try to blend it. So I got that out of there, somewhat. Okay. Now, let me just clean this up a little bit. So I need a slope from there, back, and from here, okay. And I'm going to draw that line back in there. Actually, what happens is, in this area here, this beak is going to get pointier. If you look at my drawing, it's pointy. So from here up to here, we could come in and take some of this up to that line I just drew. See it? I came from this corner, the bottom of the C, and I came right up almost to the point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fat part of my bit, and I'm going to come up, and you see this line right here that I put in? I'm going to just nicely bring that up. And we start getting a little better shape to the beak. Now, I'm almost there. I'm going to take a little bit more on the back side here and come up. Like so. Now, I end up with this. Here's my line of action that we had before. That came straight across. Okay. Now we have a corner out here. We had a corner out here. We got a flat here. Here's our center line. So I'm just going to clean that up by get that facet back in there. I'm going to come in. This ain't the end all neither, so we will refine this even more. But it brings it in a little bit more. Now I'm going to do this side. Clean this up. And the beak is still not in shape yet. Because if you look at this is a pointy beak. And we're really fat in here. So don't concern yourself with that yet. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do now is we have an eye channel. The beak is sort of starting to come out, but it's not there yet. You have facets. You got to angle this way, this way, this way, and this way. And you can't be aggressive at all with it because it's really tight and it's not a lot of beak in there, okay? For those who have quick wood and you get a little too anxious, you could fill it in again, but I'm gonna, hopefully it didn't. And even this up here is going to come back. This is going to come back further. Right now, it looks real fat at the top, and don't worry about that. Now, we have this beak line, and we're going to go right through that now. And let me grab, let's see, I'm going to get a pair, a ruby pair. These are my two favorites, the ruby flame and the ruby pear. Now, I'm going to get that in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my bit right on the line and go right on through back to here. You can see this is where the end of the cheek end stopped, but I'm going to go past that. So here we go. I'm going to lay this right on the line. And I want to follow that out. Okay, like so. And I don't want to go on to the beak yet. I want to go up to it. That's why I got that pencil line in there, so I know where I'm at. Now, you're wondering how far in do I make that channel? It's going to be, you can see it here. See that inner one? You need to get this eye, when you're looking in, at least up to that line, but not back here, okay? So watch me here. I'm going to come in. I'm taking that back so that when I look at the back end of the eye and I'm looking straight in, and where this line is, I want this eye back just beyond that line. Okay, so if I stick my pencil point there, it's close. Right now, that's fine. Now, as we come back, I want to transition that off. I don't want to go as deep, okay? It's deep here. And to give you some depth, it's really this is your limit, okay? You got to get that eye back to that line, or even inside that line a little bit. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm getting this cheek shaped around here. Now, the cheek isn't standing out too far. We had a measurement from the center out of a 1/2 inch. I don't know if you remember that, but if you come out here and we say a 1/2 inch is right about here, so from here to here is a 1/2 inch, that means you don't want to get this cheek in from that. So I'm going to start undercutting around and keep the line, okay? I'm just going to undercut just a little bit here, but I'm keeping the pencil line. And then, here's my cheek line. Came up to that split in the beak, and here it is here. I'm coming around here, and then it comes right up to the beak, but it doesn't go onto the beak, okay? Now, the deepest part you're going is right in here, okay? Right in here. And you want to make sure that from the center line out, that you have a 1/2 inch in there. So if you got your ruler and you lined up a 1/2 inch, an inch, so from your center line out to the edge of your cheek, we're almost there already, okay? And I didn't take a lot out. Now, we made a cut all the way out here. I want to blend this back slightly, okay? I'm not going to be aggressive. So here we go. We're going to smooth this out so that this cheek stands up a little bit. Not a lot. And I'm going to come around like so. And I'm getting into this channel here, so I'm going to undercut this channel a little bit more in the back here. Just a little bit. And here's that channel line, okay? Coming right through here. Okay. So we still got that lip right up here so far. So I laid that right in there. Okay. Now, and I smoothed all this out so everything blends back into the body. Okay. Now, the cheek, here's the cheek line coming through here. Okay. I'm going to go on like a 45-degree chamfer all the way around here. I'm going to put a pencil line heavy so that you can see it. And once that line disappears, then I know I'm there. I'm going to take this on a 45-degree angle. What I'm really trying to achieve, the cheek is going to be high in this spot. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to lower this from behind the eye to the front. It'll slope forward. So the first, we're just trying to get the high spot in the back. We're coming around here, and I'm doing like a 45-degree chamfer all the way down to the pencil line. And what happens is you get like an edge right in the middle here. So I'm just trying to blend this all out. Now, we end up with like an edge right here. So I'm going to soften this to keep this like the high spot. and then from behind the eye forward, I'm going to slope it. So I'm going to come around here very lightly and roll that cheek so it doesn't have an edge. So it rolls from one side to the other or from the back to the front. When we get behind the eye here, then I'm going to slope this right up so that everything looks like it's sliding forward, okay? It doesn't take much to get there neither, okay? Now, now you can see how much is there. Here's that line. I could actually refine that a little bit more. There's that C we have back in here. And then it went across. Still, boy, the beak really needs some work. Doesn't look great right now, and I know that. So don't get discouraged. So I still see I have an edge out here. I'm going to just soften that lightly. Now, what I want to do from the eye up, see this line here? This was that 3/8 from the center out, and it came back to the top of the beak. Same way on this side, exact same thing. And it came to the top of the beak. I want to take all this material flat straight down to that line through the eye here, okay? And it's mainly from this line up to this line, but flat. So watch me here. Show you how I achieve it. I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to flatten this area down. Seems a little crazy, but I want to get to this line. So I'm going to take this all the way back to here. See what I'm doing? There's the line. We're almost there. Now, when we get to the front, I'm going to show you. We have a big lip in there because we did some undercutting, and that's this thing right here. And it's chunky because you have this line coming up, and this gets real chunky in here, and we have to clean this out. This eye channel is going to come right on up. Now I'm going to get the pear, and I'm going to work right up to the beak, but I don't want to go, I want a little lip right in there. I don't want to take that away, so that has a little bit of a rise and fall between the beak and the head. So we take that in. Okay, now I'm going to take all the material out between there and the beak without going on the beak. I'm coming right in here. I want that lift, just a slight lift. Okay, and I want this to roll up like so. Okay, so here's your center line. Here's your cheek coming around. And it comes out here. Should be a little lower. There we go. Now, once we reach this, and everything is rolling from outside the eye up to here, I'm going to roll this around. I want to get this edge going. It's going to go away. It's going to roll, but it's going to have a little bit of a flap before it gets to the center, but I'll show you how I do it. I come in here. Now I knock this edge down, like on a chamfer, 45-degree chamfer, and I round that over, knock that edge down slightly. Don't be real aggressive here. I'm going to come in, and I'm going to roll this up to the center line. And I want to get the squareness out of that top of that head, but you do it gradually. You're not aggressive at all when you work the head. Trust me. So you can start seeing things take shape on the head. Now I haven't hit the beak, and I come up to it and I have a little bit of a lip there. And I want to get everything rolling and kind of smooth. That's one reason why I like the pear. Now, if you see it, you have a nice profile going on in there, okay? Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I just see a couple little bumps that I left out that I didn't get. So, and you can see I didn't take too much in the back. I just sort of blended things away, but it's still like chubby back in here. So you're not taking a lot of material on the back side of this cheek. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to lay my bit right onto the eye channel. I'm going to pull that back like this. And then I'm going to come up. Okay. Like so. And I want to get where the back of the eye looks like it's touching that line, if you could look in. And I got to go a little bit more. And it's more right in here. It's not back here. It's right around the eye area. Just trying to get the eye pushed in a little bit more. Okay, so I didn't do that much, and I'm there. Okay, so to help you guys follow me, I'm coming in. I'm going to put that cheek back in there. I'm right down in there, and there's my cheek again. I'm going to undercut on the back of the line. This one was right on the line. This is below the line, and I bring it up. But I'm going to take more material out from here to here, but not a lot. So watch me here. I'm going to undercut and still leave the cheek line. And then as I come up to the beak, I want to get shallow. Okay? And I don't want to, I want a little lift before we get to the beak. Okay? Now, I want to make sure that this beak, again, is no wider than from the center line to the outside edge. It's a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to check myself out. This side's right on, and the other side is still fat a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit more off, and I still have to reduce inside that cheek area. I understand that, but I'm going to take just a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to blend this away. I'm even going to do this under here very lightly. Like so. Blend this away. Now, we have that cheek out, and like I said before, we are coming in here. We're going to go on a chamfer of 45 degree to that line, and we want this as the high spot right here. And then when we get behind the eye, then we're going to taper this up a little bit more. So let's go on the 45 degree chamfer first. I'm just going to get that. See how the pencil line starts disappearing a little bit? Right, like that. Doesn't take much to get it there. And then I'm going to take some material that makes it flow up from behind the eye to the front of it. So it gets shallower as we come up. And you got to be gentle with this. Doesn't take much to get it there. And let me go back. I'm going to put this in. There's my cheek line. And it comes over here. And it flows up. Okay? I could see I need to pull this up a little bit. I sort of lowered that. So I'm just going to come up to my pencil line without going on the beak. Now I got this nicely puffed out, and then from behind the eye, this slopes up. Now what I'm going to do is come up and make that channel come right up to the beak line, or I should say the shape of the beak, and still have a lip in there, okay? So I sort of expanded that eye channel just a little bit there. Now, here's where we go from here. We're going to flatten this area up to here. Okay, I'm going to take this down because you got to have all this material down to this line, just like it happens here. And then we roll it over. So here we go. I'm going to come in here. So I'm not going to touch the cheek area. I'm following my headline. That's 3/8 out. I take that all the way back, so I'm right up against that top of the headline there. And then I blend this back. Now, so you have that. You still have a lip here. If I come in here, there's still a little bit of a lip. That's what you want, a little lip right there. Now, I still have an edge here, but I'll get that. We're going to start rolling this edge to get it rounded. And like I said, there will be a flat in here, but we're still going to roll it towards the center. So watch me here. If I look straight down now, this is my wall at the top from above the eye. So here we go. I'm going to come in here. And I'm chamfering that edge on a 45-degree angle. And then I'm going to roll this around to the center line, because you want to get the saw marks out too, that where when the blank was cut out, it has saw marks in it. You want to get that out too. And I'm trying to follow that line. Remember that line came out from here and back. We have to clean this up just like we did on this side. So I'm going to come in here. Just open that up just a little bit. And then we roll it. And it's not much, okay? I'm not making that much dust. And I want to blend everything out. And you can see the head starts popping out. But I still see that I didn't take enough. I have a nice roll on this side. And I could see an edge right here. And this is things you have to look at when you're doing it to see. Now the other thing too is we're sort of losing the eye channels. So I'm going to come in here and just run it lightly through there. Soften the edges I made on each side, plus this one. And when I get to here, I'm going to round that over. And we're almost there. We almost got the head out. I'm going to try to smooth everything out so it looks like it's blending back into the body. Okay. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. Get rid of that edge. You don't want any edges. You want to have everything blending. Now, let me shut that off for a second. And I'm going to start penciling in everything the way it should be. There's your cheek. Now, the thing I look for is, do I have a 1/2 inch from here to here and here to here? Is the eye channel going back far enough? Okay. And I think so. What I'll do is I'll just do a nice easy pass through there and blend that away. Very light, very light. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Look at the top of my head and see if it's symmetrical about that center line, okay? That's the key. It's easy for me to tell you everything what to do, but your eyes are going to tell you when you get to that point. So you have your center line coming through here. Oop, sorry about that. Like this, coming right through. Now, when you're looking down that barrel, this side and this side should be the same. If you have it a little high, then you come in, you mark it. If you see a little hard edge, you just, and it's a light touch to get there. I'm going to come in here and lower this just a little bit. Round that over. And the nice thing about the pear is it really does a nice job. It really does. I just like the bit. It's my go-to bit most of the time for shaping. So that doesn't look bad at all. Okay. We have a chubby looking face and front. And the only thing that needs to be done now is the beak. And here's what I'm going to do. The beak needs to be more pointed. And I'm going to come in here and I'm looking at what I have here. And I'm going to go to the top of my beak like this, and I want to take this out. Now the thing that I want to get to is I want this beak to go back at least 5/16. So in essence, I'm going to undercut along here at the top and right here with my flame. I'm going back to the flame again because the flame has a point that will let me go in and clean it out and not get real wide or anything like that. So I'm going to come back in here. Looking at this side. Now, let's see. And let me just show you what I've done, because a lot of times you can't see it. I came in and pushed this back right here at that point. Okay. And I'm trying to say that I want to send this back and flatten this out. Okay, so you could see I have maybe 1/8 of an inch up from the beak right here. I'm going to knock that down. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the middle of my bit and lower that right down the center of the beak. Okay. So, I'm going to get that to go right back in there. Now, here's what we got. We'll put the center line back in. Always want to make sure you're staying on center. I use the beak line and the center line religiously to maintain the setup on both sides. Okay, so the beak is starting to take shape, and this bottom still needs to be pushed in more. So we're going to do this gradually. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go in. I'm going to get my facet back in there. Right on back in. On the top. Going to do the same thing on this side. It only takes a second. And I'm going to undercut this a little bit more. On the bottom. To pull that bottom bit in. And it's not much. You can't be aggressive. Okay. And this ain't the end of it neither. So don't think your beak is in great shape. It's not. Not yet. But we're getting it close. Okay. Now I'm going to come in here where I just put the pencil in. Takes me back. I'm a little too high up here. So what I'm going to do is get the point and roll that edge ever so slightly so it blends back. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You can see I have a little bit of a edge there. I'm going to roll that back. Okay. I'm getting a little lopsided here. Let's see if I can get that over. I don't know if it's my drawing or my center line tends to walk a little bit here. So I'm going to come down through here. Okay. Yeah, it looks better. And then I'm still a little rough right here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to get my pencil, and where I think I have a ding or something like that, I just highlighted it a little bit. Then I look down my barrel and see if I still have symmetry on both sides. This has an edge. This has an edge and a little ding right here. So everything's a light touch at this point. So I'm going to come in here. Like so. I don't want to take a lot out. This is being very light touch. Because once you get close, there's not much to take off. So that pretty much gets you going. It's not the final. The beak is only, let's see, I got 3/30 seconds on one side and 3/30 seconds on the other. This is still a little bit wide. I'm not going to concern myself with that right at the moment, okay? And I'm just going to look at everything in general, make sure that your cheek on both sides are lined up distance-wise or perpendicular to the center line. Your eyes are the same way. Your beak is the same way. Now, the last thing we do, and let me come in here. I'm going to put a pencil line in here so you can see this and this. I'm going to open up this beak. The beak has a little slight roll into it. So I'm going to use my flame again. And I'm going to go on a 45-degree chamfer. This is real light. You can see maybe a light little white showing. So as I come through there, I'm rolling that around that way. Then I'm going to go to the top, stick my bit in there, and roll it ever so slightly. Boy, you got to really be gentle. And you have like a roll in from the top and a roll in from the bottom. You do the same thing on this side. Come in here. We may do this again. So if you don't get it all, we'll come back and when we reduce the beak one more time, we will get it in its proper position. But that has that roll in. And if you're off on the burn, this is another time when we can, well, we'll adjust it as we go. But if you can accomplish this much on the video, from the video now, that would be great. So all of this blends back, okay? And you shouldn't have any bumps or anything like that. I mean, real outstanding bumps. And then just smooth that out with the pear. Anything here, just all smoothing out. I'm just looking at things here. This looks pretty good. If I got this the same on both sides, and my eyes were at least 3/8 from the center to the back of the eye here, we're in good shape on both sides. So we look pretty good. Now, I could see a couple of spots where I need to just roll that ever so slightly in the same way here. And I just do that. And what I'll do is I'll just lightly go over it with my pear, okay? So I hope you can get this far on the video. And if you happen to see something that seems like maybe you took a little too much out on this side, then take a little bit more out on that side to make it look symmetrical, okay? I'm seeing something right here on mine. I may have to come in just a hair to make this pull in. I think what it was, I had pulled the channel in and maybe I didn't take enough right in here, but the idea is to make this symmetrical. Everything's symmetrical about the center lines. That's why your center line is so important. So hope you got something out of this one. I'm going to just go in and smooth this out. For those who have sanders, I have these sanders with the mandrels, and these are ideal. You can get in and clean these up and get this all smoothed out if you're a little hesitant with the ruby pear, you know, but this will really get it sanded rather than hand sanding. So this could be your final setup. This is on a excuse me, a 3/32 shaft, okay, and you get a bag of 10 of them, and they screw right on. So if anybody ever needs any of them, give me a holler. Sorry about that, and I will get that out to you. So if anybody is interested in wanting to do this project, I do have the patterns available. I also have the kits, which gives you a pattern, the feet, the eyes, and the blank. So if you would be interested in wanting to try the project, definitely give me an email to my email, which is Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, sorry about that, let me try that again. Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com. It's also in the description of the video here if you need to get it. Contact me and ask me for a catalog. I can send that out to you. You can tell me what you'd like to order. I have several now, kits, probably doubled what I had before because I finally got a list of a lot of the kits I made. So hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next video. And again, if you can give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it greatly, and we'll get you flying. And the beak isn't there yet, and I'm looking at mine, and I think I got to take a little bit more on the underneath side here, and we will accomplish that as we go. This isn't the final. This is just sort of getting the head shaped out and the front, and it is chubby looking, and that's what we want. Okay, this is a chubby looking bird. So excuse me, see you on the next video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.